everyone, Starshine here. Welcome back to another exciting video where I'm joined by an awesome guest today. Today I have the lovely DJ with me.
Hey, Starshine, thanks for having me. Yeah, my name's DJ. I stream Catan, and I'm okay at base game, and then I've won a few King of Catan championships for cities and nights. So I guess hopefully it'll be a fun video, and I'm excited.
Oh, absolutely. And because you're good in both game modes, that's exactly the reason why I chose you for this video. Alright, so what are we gonna do today? I have a game opened in front of me, and we will do the following. We will place this out in two different game modes. First of all, we will do the 8 placements for the base game, and afterwards we will place out the exact same board for the cities and knights, and we will see where are the differences. And yeah, I think there's not much to say about it. Let's start this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, so what do you think about the board?
So I mean, the key thing about this board is very low ore, and the second thing I see about this board is the sheep and the wheat are like very segregated. So the wheat is in the bottom corner and the sheep is in the other bottom corner. So it's just going to be this game you're going to have to trade, and I think that this is a game where you really want to look at production and ports no matter what game mode you're playing, because the odds on you getting all 5 resources and a good setup and a clear condition is just not very likely, in my opinion.
I absolutely agree with you. I especially think that early trading will be very important, just because you need early deals to get some progress in the beginning. So I think having some rare resources is a very big advantage, right?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I still think it is a very tough board for first position.
Oh yeah, I think that this board is really tough for first, and I think first can place in a bunch of different places, and you can find a reason that all of them are bad. So
exactly. Yeah.
I feel like we're just gonna have to pick one and see where the chips fall.
Yeah, I think there are many spots that are equally good or almost equally good, especially with the 5-6-11, the 5-8-10, and the 5-9-10. So no matter which spot of those you pick, I don't think you make a completely wrong decision.
No, not at all. Especially for the base game, I actually think the 6-4-11 in the top right corner is a consideration if you can get brick on the way back, but that's super dependent. And I think also the 6-9-3 in the bottom is potentially playable if you can get the 8-3 and get on the sheep port. But again, this is a lot of hopes and dreams, and it's not the easiest thing to pull off, no matter what.
I think it's hard to place down the board completely just because there's so many options, there's so many possibilities, what you can do.
Yeah.
And also early cutoffs are probably big topic on the board.
Oh yeah, but if we're talking about base, I think just to put one on the board, I think the 5-9-10 in the top left corner, while it might not be my favorite pick for first position, like you have a strategy, you have the brick port, you have a lot of brick, and even if you just get on wood and one other resource, you can play this board with the 5-9-10, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree with you. The 5-9-10 would be definitely my first pick just because you have the brick port. Of course, it is hard to make any winning strategies on this board, but I think the brick port gives you at least a strategy. You have a clear win condition, right?
100%. And I think the hardest thing about it is that when I've looked at this board a little bit since you sent it to me, and if you don't take the 5-9-10 early, there's a chance that somebody gets like the 8-4-3 with the 5-9-10, which is actually one of those like very good setups in my opinion, and has a lot of play to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we agree with 5-9-10.
Yeah. I think that's a safe first pick. I will say my one thing about base is I think a lot of people focus a lot on placements for a base game, and while that's totally makes sense, I think more and more placements matter a little bit less in the weirdest way. I think you can make up for bad placements with good gameplay. So.
Yes, I agree with you. I don't think placements are that important, but I feel like many people, especially newer people, value them pretty much.
Oh yeah, and I think as you're getting into the game, it's important. But I would say that if you've been playing for a while and you feel like you want to elevate your game, I would tell you to be brave with your placements in base game, and go crazy. Yeah. You can win.
You can win out of every situation, right?
Yeah. If you're willing to trade and get creative, you can win with anything.
Exactly. Then I also think like if worse placements, you have better chances to get good deals. That's why I also.
100%. Yep.
That's also a big thing why I think placements are not that important. But getting back to the board, what do you think about the second position here? So I think it's a big close call between maybe 5-8-10 and 5-6-11, while I still see her 4-6-11 spot. So
I think 6-5-11 or 8-5-10 is your better pick here.
So with the 5-8-10, you have of course the big advantage of the wheat, and we have the 4 wheat as the other lonely wheat tile on the board, which might be reliable, but I think we will be of course a trading resource because it will be monopolized by 1 or 2 players. So
yeah, I think the 8-5-10 is actually the best pick in second position. And I think that there's a good chance you can get one of the sheep spots or like the 6-4-11. And if not, then you have the 9-4-11 in the middle of the board. So I think that if you take the 8-5-10, you have potential like outs that make sense with your setup.
I feel like you have to also look out what you can pair it with, right? So,
Right.
With the 5-8-10, you have the sheep port available. Of course, you don't get any sheep with the 5-8-10, but the chances that you get them on the way back are not that low, I think. So
Yeah, and even if both of those sheep swaps go and you get like the 6-4-11, you have a 3-1 port, so you no longer need the sheep port, and you
exactly,
can
yeah.
port all your wheat. The second thing is, even if you take the 6-4-11, for example, you have only wood and no brick, but you look at the board, the first position is going to have so much brick, and the other players are probably going to be on the 9 brick, where you're going to be able to get wood for brick trades on this board, I think.
Yeah.
So I think you can play without brick if you have enough wood to support it.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have, of course, more brick than wood on the board, just because of the production numbers.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that makes sense what you say.
Yeah, I think 8-5-10 second, but it's once again it's still a toss up. Like no matter how you slice it.
It's always a tough word, right?
Yeah, it's a tough board. It's
Yeah.
a tough board.
And that's why I chose it. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we lock in the 8-5-10 as the second position, and we move on to third pick. What do you pick?
6-5-11, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think
it's
you can
about
leave
time.
that open. Yeah.
No, not with the 8-4-3. You can't leave those two open.
Yeah, exactly. So the 5-6-11 is just now a very strong spot, which you can pair super well with other spots, and I think that's just the only reason why you have to take it, right?
Yeah. I think you can point up, or you can point towards the wood in the 6-3. The 3-10-11 might be open. So.
The 3-10-11. It depends, of course, on the 4-9-11 or 9-10-11.
Yep. But also the 9-10-2 is viable to get to the wood port with the 5 wheat, so you can build onto wheat. So I think that there's a chance, and you could always double road out to the 4-3 or something if it's open. I mean, there's no great road with this middle 6-5-11, but I think you can point it either down to the right or up, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think up you definitely don't. You shouldn't gamble with one road settlement spot when you point upwards, because 5-9-10 is already taken, and 4-6-11 is very likely to be taken. So
no, I agree.
Yeah, I think I would point to the right and hope for the 3-10-11 to be opened.
Sweet.
Also if the chances are maybe not that good. But
all right.
Fourth
position.
Fourth position. I think I like fourth position on this board, but
what do you take?
Yeah,
what do you
that's
take?
Problem. So of course you have the 4-8-10 on the left side, and you have the 3-6-9. The question is, do you bank on that much sheep?
I think that's okay. The only problem is if somebody takes the 8-3. I don't think anybody will on this board for base. So I think you could take 8-4-10, 6-9-3 and play it.
The other question is 6-4-11 better than the 4-8-10? I don't think so, because you need the extra wheat, but what is your opinion?
No, yeah. You really don't want to give third position the 8-4-3 or the 8-4-10 either. I don't think you want to give him that position. So I think that you want to take the 8. I think the 8-4-3, the 8-4-10 has to get taken in fourth position.
Yeah.
So I think if you take 8-4-10, yeah, you can take 6-9-3. You can take 9-10-11. That would also be interesting.
6-9-3 and 9-10-11.
Yeah.
Oh, playing wheatless.
No. No. 8-4-10, 9-10-11. But I think I would lock in 8-4-10, 6-9-3. Play with all the sheep, trade it like crazy. Try to get on this 3-1 port. If you don't, you're gonna have a really bad time though.
Yeah. But I see your 9-10-11. Would you go with 9-10-11 on 4-8-10 or 3-6-9 and 9-10-11?
8-4-10, 9-10-11 would be the idea.
Should we lock that in?
Okay, 8-4-10, 9-10-11. Yeah, we can do that. That'd be cool.
I mean, I really like 3-6-9 just because you monopoly that sheep that much. It will be really tough for other players to get any sheep. But
Yeah.
however,
But if anybody takes the 8-3, your game is done.
absolutely, yeah, because you need the port. You definitely need the 3-4-1 port. The sheep port is
And with the
another
9 with the 9 10 11 8 4 10, you don't need the port as much.
no. And
So.
you still have the possibility to go to the wood port, which is pretty nice, I think.
Yep. You
Two
can point down
roads,
on both.
Point down
All right.
on both. Yeah, agree.
Yeah. Now we got third position. They got an interesting pick here coming back.
Absolutely, and I think 4-6-11 is the obvious pick, but it is really risky because you double up on the 6 wood. So.
Yeah, I mean the 6-9-3, right, is the other thought here.
Yeah.
You just play without wheat.
With the 6-9-3, you also get into a race for the 3-4-1 port because they really need that 3-4-1 port. With the 5-6-11, you have a tough time to get a port.
Yeah, you are giving second position the 6-9-3, but I think they're fine with either one of them. So maybe you take the 6-4-11.
Yeah, I see, because the 5-10 player, the second player, has, of course, the sheep port next to it. So
that does plow you. You could take the 6-11-12, but maybe the 6-4-11 point towards the 11-12, try to get on the 3-1 port. I think with third position on the way back, you can probably take 6-4-11 here. That's probably the best pick.
6-4-11, yeah. I really don't like doubling up early on numbers, just because if the 6 gets blocked, you're completely screwed. That's just your whole production is getting blocked. I really also like the pair the 11s. Although it's just the 11, if it rolls, you're getting so close to city already.
You can get that early city on the 6-5-11, which could really help your game. And I think you point up towards the 3-1 port with the 11-12. It's only one more point of ore, but it doubles your wheat production and gets you an extra ore. Yeah. So I like that. I like that more, and I think it should be safe.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think 11-12 would be any contestant. And also, the 3-for-1 port on the sheep also is just 3 points of production. So, and then the ore is just better. I agree.
Yeah.
So we lock 4-6-11 in, and I think we take the obvious pick on 3-6-9 with the 5-8-10 together.
Oh, yep, and that gets you to the wheat port. That's actually a really good setup. Wow.
Yes. I, of course, still think that third position could consider 3-6-9, but the problem is you play wheatless. And I don't think on this board, with that much ore, if you have to trade for 2 resources, it could be really tough for you. So,
yeah. Well, I think with where online Catan is going and the like faster timer games, like normal timer and everything.
Yeah.
It's hard to fully analyze boards. Probably, if you want to play defensive, I think you take the 6-9-3. You make a lot of wheat trades in the game, a lot of wheat for sheep trades. You can do that. But I think that like this analysis sort of shows that nothing is going to be perfect here, and you just sort of have to accept whatever you want to play. Maybe looking back, maybe you do take the 6-9-3 in third position on the way back just to prevent second. But then second takes the 6-4-11, and they're pretty happy again. So it's kind of a trade-off.
I think second position likes the 3-6-9, of course, more, but I think you're way better with the 6-4-11 yourself. That's a problem.
And then we run into this problem here where the board is closed off our first position, and they do not have much left for them.
Yeah, I think we already got that in the very beginning. But, yeah, what do we have left?
5-2 to the 6-2?
5-2 to the 6-2.
I don't know.
That's all
8-3. 8-3. 8-3. Either the sheep one or the wheat and wood. Probably the wheat and wood. I would take the wheat wood desert 8-3.
The problem what I have with that spot is just that you don't have much production, and the 8 wheat will be a big target just because it's 8 and it's a wheat ton.
So where do you go here?
That's a good question.
I don't think there's anything better.
Yeah, placing on the brick port is probably not the best move.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because if you look at placing on the 8-5-10 instead, it's tough. I do think the 6-4-11 and 6-9-3 deserve analysis by people at home. Placing that in first position, I think you might get what you're looking for, but I don't know. It's really tough on this board.
Absolutely, yeah. I think first position is always having a hard time, and I think first position always needs good trades. So...
yeah, the hard part here is if you can create any way where the 9, 10, 11 doesn't get taken, it looks a lot better for you. But
absolutely,
maybe fourth position does do the 9, 10, 2 instead to get on the 5 wheat and get more wheat. And if that's the case, then with the wood port, if that's the case, then
then of course there's spawns in the middle.
Then you would have the 9, 4, 11, the 3, 10, 11. You could play a very you could play an interesting game like that. You could even take the 3, 10, 11 first to get the extra wood, but Yeah. It's tough. It's really tough,
It's
this
always
board.
tough. Of course, there are so many possibilities to place this board out. We're just showing what we would do in the first thoughts we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And I think it's very different playing one position versus playing all four of them.
exactly.
You know?
Just because you have to analyze all the situations, right? So,
Yeah.
um,
But I am curious about the Cities and Knights board. I think it actually changes a lot. The
I
Cities
agree
and
with you,
Knights.
yeah. But what would you
Yeah.
unlock in the South position now? The 3-8 on the right or the left? I don't think there's anything better, but...
Yeah, probably the 8-3 on the right, in my opinion. I think you can get sheep pretty easily. You basically say, "Hey, I'm going to rob you." You know, you extort for sheep because
Yeah.
people are going to have a lot of it. You get on the brick port and you try to do something with it. Buy a lot of devs, hope for a mono. I don't know.
Pray for a lot of freeze 5 and 9s. Probably.
Yeah. Always.
But yeah, I think that's the end for the base game analysis, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a lot of interesting things on this board. I think looking at ports, looking at trades. I think when we looked at it, like first position could go in a lot of places. I think the 5-9-10 has some ups to it. It has some downs. I would highly recommend people at home place out the 6-4-11, place out the 6-9-3, place out the 8-5-10, see how that changes the board, and think about like what trades would people look for, because who's going to have a lot of something and what are they going to be looking for. But yeah.
I feel like this is a great example for boards how one placement, of course, changes the whole game, because it will change every setup on the board, of course. So
yep,
placements can have a really big impact on how the game is going. But all right, I want to wrap it up for you today. We will see us kind of soon in another video where we place out the exact same board with the Cities and Knights setup. And I want to thank you for being here today, DJ. It was really fun with you.
Oh, thanks, Starshine. It's always fun. Always fun to play. Always fun to talk Catan.
Buttering me up here. Lovely. All right. Do you have any last words?
Nope. I would just echo from the beginning, like be brave. Be brave with your placements in base game. You can win with anything. Have an idea. Have a plan. If it sounds crazy, go for it.
Yeah, I think that's a good last word. I want you all to encourage again. Please check out the links in the description where you can see DJ's links. Check out his stuff. He's doing really cool stuff. And otherwise, have a shining day and see y'all. Bye bye.